Hey Cactus friends, it's Jenny from Cookies Cacti. So if you remember from my preparing for the winter video, I kind of showed my setup for my little outdoor seedling shade house where I still have a layer of shade cloth inside the structure, but then I have the original plastic cover from the greenhouse kit installed. So basically the seedlings inside are protected from frost and rain, but it's unheated. So it's been a minute since I've been inside the shade house to check on the seedlings. I think it's probably been about a week. So let's go ahead and take a look inside and see how we're doing in mid-February. Alright, so we are inside my shade house, and you can see the shade cloth I have on the inside of this little greenhouse structure that I have, and I'll put a link below to where I bought this greenhouse kit from. So let's see how my seedlings have been doing outside, and as I pan around you're going to notice that some of them are dead. So let's take a look, and a lot of them are still alive. So this is the first winter that I've ever had seedlings outside in a space like this. Last winter I didn't have nearly as many seedlings, and all of these guys were still very small and they were all growing indoors. So this is my first season of going through having an unheated shade house with seedlings in it. So there's always a learning curve that comes with new things. So I had made some mistakes at the turn of the season, which is where I find it to be the most challenging, is every time when the season changes and you have to start modifying how you're caring for the seedlings, and that's the most tricky part for me right now. I think I need to pay much more attention to the overnight lows in the future, but let me show you. So basically when it went from summer to fall to winter, that transition is always pretty quick in the desert. So it's not like a gradual change, it's a sudden change. And so I have a certain routine that I follow for watering in the summertime, and at some point that routine has to change as the climate starts to cool down, and I didn't change it fast enough. So let me show you what I mean. Let's just go through here and we can see which seedlings are doing okay and which ones are not. So I did do a bunch of repotting on these mammillaria before the season changed, and you can see that some of them survived and some of them didn't. My biggest loss on seedlings is actually for the Astrophytum ornatum, which I'm surprised. And this didn't happen during the coldest time. It happened at that transition. I had repotted these probably just before, actually a little while before it got cold. But it was already cool enough that I noticed after a watering a whole bunch of them had rotted, and now you can really see. I had massive die-off, and I was surprised because I thought ornatum would be easy. But for me, I struggled with that transition and with the repotting. My euphorbia seedlings still doing well. I gave one to my brother, so I had 3. I would say the biggest tragedy I had would be on the Astrophytum ornatum. I also lost, surprise, surprise, a whole bunch of Areocarpus seedlings. But as for the seedlings that are doing very well, my saguaro are doing really well. These mammillaria here, which I don't even remember what they are. They might be, I think they're mammillaria scheidiana. They are my first mammillaria seedlings to ever bloom, and they've been blooming pretty much throughout the entire cool season, which is pretty cool. Look at that, they're so young and they're already blooming. Got these mammillaria, these are Grammii right here. They're doing quite well. My Astrophytum hybrids are doing well as well. This Mammillaria nehepensis, pretty easy so far. This is the Comptotricha something mammillaria, also doing very well. So practically outgrown that pot. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have Mammillaria candida doing well. So pretty much like everything on this shelf, I've had almost no losses, knock on wood. Oh, Cookie's out. Cookie. Alright, let's move to this bottom shelf. So I've got a bunch of these Astrophytum hybrids which are doing alright. This is a Capricorn of some sort. Sorry, it's kind of dark in here. And then this one is, I think, Mammillaria carminae. Can't believe this ornatum's still alive. A bunch of mammillaria here. Or mammillaria, astrophytum. Some of this you can see there's some orange stuff on there. That's been on there for a while. I've tried using the fungicide, but it's still there. I don't know if that's some sort of rust or what. And there you can even see some Ariocarpus tucked in there. I've got one mammillaria lenta alive in there. So there's one death here. I think this coalescens astrophytum. There's one death there. Oh, this is a weird astrophytum hybrid. There's a death over here. Well, otherwise this shelf is doing okay. Hi, Cookie. Cookie's cacti. Let's take a look at this shelf. Got some more ornatum, some mammillaria here. I think it's Gallmerii or something like that. I forgot. Like, you can see a death there of an astrophyta myriostigma. These are some Corypantha. These are astrophytum coalescens. See somebody dead there. This is myriostigma from Mesa Garden. Okay, here's another die-off for my astrophytum ornatum. You can see a couple of dead seedlings there. Over here as well. This is, oh, my astrophytum hybrid. See somebody's dead there. This wiggle usually gives it away. Mammillaria purbella, you can see death here. This is microtheli. Deaths there. Purbella. Sorry about the shadow again. More deaths. These guys are doing okay. These are some Turbinicarpus, and I don't even remember of what kind anymore. Mammillaria grammii. So you can see from these shelves over here so far, a lot of deaths on the astrophytum ornatum. Some on the astrophytum myriostigma. Some deaths on the particular mammillaria as well. And you may ask, how are you watering it? I really cannot give you a good answer. Like these Corypantha here, these little long stringy finger ones, they start to like get limp and fall over when they're when they're thirsty. So they actually give some sort of idea. But basically, I can't really say how I've been watering them. I have been watering them lightly throughout the winter. I like to use these squeeze bottles. It kind of gives me control over how much water I'm giving them. And I use my usual method of picking up the pot and feeling how light it is. And then giving it a somewhat light watering. Now, our weather was a little bit deceiving because I thought we were heating up or starting to warm up a bit after January ended. But it's still been pretty cool, so our overnight lows are still in the 40s, and we're still dipping into the 30s here and there. We do have a pretty big temperature difference between day and night, so the daytime is about 30 degrees higher, so we're like in the 60s or 70s for the high during the day. So it's very confusing weather, and I'll just admit I'm completely winging it with regards to how to water these guys. There's no set schedule. I'm just doing whatever. Got these Turbinicarpus schmectianus, maybe? I cannot believe that these are still alive because I really struggle with growing Turbinicarpus from seed. And when I do my seedling update video in another week or two, you'll see how I did with those Turbinicarpus. I can say I didn't do well. These guys have this big one here. Well, that's funny. I'd call it big. The biggest one here has flowered for me last season already. I just can't believe they're still alive. These are my firstborns, my first ever cactus seedlings, Astrophytum myriostigma from my own plant. You can see they're pretty small, given that come April they'll be 2 years old, so very, very small. But they're alive, so I'm happy with that. These are not seedlings. Here's more seedlings, Turbinicarpus something, maybe Pseudomacrocheli. Can't believe they're still alive. I had so many of these in this pot, and a whole bunch of them had died over the summer when I moved them from indoors to outdoor. Okay, here's a really bad pot. Everybody is dead in there, I believe. Maybe there's one still hanging to life, but otherwise they're all dead. These are my astrophytum hybrids, still going strong. My first ever mammillaria seedling, still going strong. Saguaro is doing very, very well. I don't know if this comes out on camera, but there's new growth coming out. Gosh, I just love these saguaro. They're pretty easy to grow from seed, at least in this climate. You can see a lot of them are showing new growth. Just so cool. These are in 2.5-inch pots if you just wanted a sense of size. Got some more mammillaria bird's nest. These pharaoh cactus I did not grow from seed. These were taken from my parents' property. They have a pot with this giant pharaoh cactus that kept dropping seed right beside it, and they were germinating. And so they had all these little seedlings in that pot, and so they told me to pick some out, so I did, and so they're doing all right. So these are also from that pot of seedlings. This one I think I might have grown from seed. I really struggle with growing pharaoh cactus from seed, and I don't know why. They just don't like my growing method. Some more mammillaria nehepensis. More nehepensis from my own plant. These are really fun because they grow pretty fast for, well, you know, relatively speaking. Down here I've got some more senile astrophytum senile Vioreum. I don't know how happy they are, but they're alive, which I'm surprised. Here I did very badly with Epithelantha micromeris. This is probably that, is it a Cactus or something? So this was a pack of supposedly Areocarpus seeds, and obviously they're not all Areocarpus. You can see an Areocarpus hanging out in there. There's another one over here, if you can see right there. But the rest of these are definitely not Areocarpus. I think somebody had tried to help me identify what these guys are. And I can never remember. I think we saw these at, let's say, B&B Cactus Farm down in Tucson. The much bigger ones, of course. But like they grow pups and stuff really easily, which is pretty cool. Relatively easy. This one will look familiar. It's been hanging out inside here since I brought it home. See, it's still alive, which is good. This is that Cactus autumnus. This is my tray, which used to have more Areocarpus, but now there's only a few left, and I actually can't believe that they're still alive. They've been hanging out down here this entire time. Let's move over here. So I had this experimental tray of cactus seedlings that I think I have left out here since the spring of last year, maybe beginning of summer of 2022. And I don't even remember what I did. I might have taken really young pots of seedlings and just put them in this tray with a dome and left them in the shade house to see what would happen, because otherwise normally I start all these seeds indoors. And I leave them indoors until they're kind of ready to be out permanently. But in this case, I just took them out here while they were still very, very young, just to see what would happen. If you remember, if any of you saw my previous seedling, shade house seedling updates, I had a lot more seedling pots down here, and they were mostly Areocarpus. What I did is I moved them into this tray under the dome. And I've had a lot of die-off on the Areocarpus. It didn't matter if I left them out or put them in here. I don't know what happened. They just started to basically melt. So let me try. I'll use this little paintbrush. So here you see, dead. Dead. Very dead. This pot has nothing left in it. This one I had 2 that were doing so well. Dead. This one actually has something in it. This one, see, look, dead. This one, dead. Dead. This one's still going okay. This is a very slow growing Epithelantha. Oh, this one I still have a few seedlings. These look very robust. Here, let's see. Anything dead here? Eh. Oh, still 2 alive. Let's see this one. Still a couple. Here, look. This was one of my most successful pots of Ariocarpus, and if we go back to some of my old videos, you'll see how full of seedlings this particular pot was. And now look. Dead, 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 dead. These dying? Oh, that's rotted. This one feels rotty too. See how wiggly it is? It doesn't feel right. Whereas this one's very stiff. That's stiff, stiff. Ooh, that's definitely dead. So rot, 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 rot. Alive, alive. Another one. That one's okay. He's actually okay. I don't really understand how to water these and stuff. Is it dead? I don't know what. Oh, that's a twig. And those are still alive, but I don't think this one had that many seedlings in there to begin with. Let's take a look at these other ones. Oh, there's nothing left in here. This one I've got a couple here. Looks like some death in there. There's a little one there. This one has nothing. Oh, there's a teeny tiny, this is Gymnocalycium raganezii, or raganezi. Very bad pot. This one I have one seedling that's doing okay, and then one teeny tiny one. I don't know, I did really bad with the gymnos, which very terrible to my confidence, because I thought Gymnocalycium were supposed to be easy to grow from seed. It's got some Escobaria here. They look stressed, but they're still alive. This one I'm really surprised. This is Epithelantha boekii, and they're still alive. I've done really, really bad with Epithelantha. Like, I can get them to germinate. I can get them to a certain size, and then they just start to die off. And I have yet to figure out why. This is my most successful pot of Epithelantha, and I just don't hold my breath. Like, if these decide to die, I'll just be like, oh, that's expected. Copiapoa recurvata. This one is from Rob Romero's shop. That's where I got the seeds. I think these as well. I tried, is it Echinocactus horizontaloneus from seed off my own plant. I could not get anything to germinate. I heard that some people like to use acid to help break through those really tough shells on the seeds, but I'm not willing to use acid at this point. I just leave them in here forever. Has some Astrophytum fissuratus hintonii from my own seed, and surprisingly they're still alive, although they are very purple, and they've been like that for a long time. Some other couple. So you can see I did very poorly with Ariocarpus and relatively poorly with Astrophytum ornatum, surprisingly. But that is my update on my seedlings out in my shade house for mid-February, sort of midwinter. Some things doing great, some things not. Oh, I forgot these Astrophytum coalescens. These guys are doing okay. Alright, so that's my update for these seedlings, and we'll see come spring how we do. And then again, when it goes from spring, or winter, spring to summer, that transition is always difficult. At some point I'm going to have to be out here all the time watering, but for now we still have a little ways of winter to go. Alright everyone, I hope you found some amount of enjoyment out of this video, but I will talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.